Welcome to Escaping Purgatory, a podcast where we rewatch Supernatural, then talk it through in the hopes we can finally escape this show.
Join us each week and leave comments on upcoming episodes, and together we can escape Supernatural Purgatory.
Hi!
Hello. Oh, we said that at the same time. Amy, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you have 99 problems? And a bitch ain't one.
I get it. I get the episode title now.
Really? You didn't click the 4?
It really didn't. Like, oh yeah. The Whore of Babylon. She's the problem. Oh no, she's not the problem. Wait, yeah.
Yeah,
that song's always confused me. Oh.
Yeah. So this episode's okay.
It gets us where we need to be.
Yeah. So as my intro implied, this was season 5, episode 17, 99 Problems, written by Judy Siege and directed by Carl Beeson. Yeah. I don't know. Like there's some really good lines in this.
Yeah.
Cass acting chef kiss.
Yes.
It's amazing. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I kind of wish that the whore was a man.
Yeah, me too. Like, I wish the Whore of Babylon had been the pastor. And then his daughter had to kill him. Does that sound as awful?
No, that sounds pretty good, actually.
I think it would have been better. I don't know. Like, it's just too predictable. Though I will say, the woman who plays her did a really good job of, like, seeming really, like, sweet and innocent at the beginning of this episode. And then there's something in her facial expression that really subtly changes. Like, it's very subtle. And you're like, oh, yeah, she's... like unhinged and evil.
Yeah.
It's good. It's just good acting.
And it wasn't the like mirror scene where her face gets all like demony. No. It was before that. Yeah.
She's got like shark eyes. Sorry. Yeah. I like this one. I don't know. There is a bit... I think the problem with this episode is it's a bit boring in the middle.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a little predictable. For rewatch, I don't know if maybe when you watched it the first time round, not so bad, but like I feel like the reveal and halfway through the episode from Cass that she's not a prophet, like came too soon. Like, I feel like we should have seen it on screen first, and then he says that he has, like, all the prophets seared into his brain.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird reveal, but, like, I appreciate they needed Cass there. I don't know. It is a weirdly paced episode. I think it's okay. That's as much as I can say about it. I think it's okay. Like, the actual storyline's, like, not terrible.
So I'll tell you what I think it is. They wanted to get that last scene in, and they had to like hurry up the main part of the plot. But what makes that last scene really, really weird is like, why is she there? Like, why is Lisa there? Like, there's been no mention of her in like 2 seasons, and like I feel like they've gotten the green light for season 6. So like, oh crap, what are we going to do in season 6?
Yeah, I can feel that.
We know Sam's not going to be there at the beginning, at least. So we need to give Dean like a partner.
Yeah.
And why it couldn't have been Cass, I don't know. Like I'm talking partners and like someone else on screen, like not like a romantic partner.
Yeah.
So it was weird. I mean, Supernatural does this. You know, they pick someone from a far back season just to plonk them in for a little bit. So, but it's just bizarre that they're setting this up knowing that they're going to go into a season 6.
Yeah. I'm going to say something. Oh, no. Well, I don't know. It's not. I don't think this is that controversial. I kind of like the Dean Lisa thing. Like, I get it.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's oddly, like, it's completely out of the blue. Like, this whole time he's been giving up. He hasn't said that he wants to find love or anything. Like, we had that weird part in the last episode, or no, the episode before. What's the last? I don't remember now. What episode am I talking about? The zombie episode.
Yeah, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid.
Yes, that one. We had Karen saying to Dean, like, you don't know what love is. And then suddenly now he's like, oh, I found love.
Yeah, I do. I understand what you mean about them going into like season 6 with like setting him up for someone without Sam. It's almost like, the thing is, right, if Supernatural had ended in season 5, like originally planned, Dean would have had this like happy domestic ending, right?
Well, so that's what I mean. I don't know if this was planned. I don't know if like he was supposed to go, like, I don't know what it would have been instead. But to me personally, I feel like it wasn't. It was literally just a setup for season 6. Like,
let me
if
get
season
Eric
6 wasn't
Kripke
happening
on the phone. Oh, he's not taking my calls anymore. I'm sorry.
Okay. You can say, I promise this is about the boys, not Supernatural.
That's a good question. That's a good convention question. Let's ask it. Like, someone who goes, so was the relationship with Lisa always going to happen in season 5, or was it only because you got renewed? Like, do you know? That's a good question. Yeah, we'll talk about more of that at the end. I have thoughts and feelings about it. I do.
Awesome. Yeah. So I guess we can jump into it.
Let's do it.
And unless you got, I mean, yeah, we've already basically talked about the middle and the end. I don't think we talked about the beginning of this.
It's fine. Nobody minds.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. So we start with the recap of Lisa's introduction, and a little bit of the Changeling episode. I don't remember what episode that was, but that was the last episode we saw her in. Yeah. We also then get Cass's beginning of the search for God. But then we also get last week's episode where Joshua may have lied to the Winchesters. We don't know.
Yeah.
About, it's not, God is saying it's not his problem. And then Cass also saying, maybe Joshua lied. We don't know. And then Sam pleading with Dean that, they'll find a way. Which, will they? Who knows? So it comes in hot. They are chasing away from something. We don't really know what it is. Sam looks like he's pretty injured. In the arm, at least. And then they end up with, like, in front of this burning wall across the blockade. It's not clear as to why this road is blocked off, but it is, and they can't get any further. Then they're rescued by some, like, random people. You don't know who they are, but they have, like, this massive truck that has, like, water in it, and they're spraying all these people down, and you realize it's demons that are running after them. And they start to, like, they can sort of insta kill them insta exercise them.
Yeah.
They say a couple innocuous words and they smoke out. So the boys are saved. Huzzah. and they get like introduced to some people, and they introduce themselves as the Sacrament Lutheran militia. I can't say that. And the guy's like, I hate to tell you this, but those were demons, and this is the apocalypse, so buckle up. And they both look like kind of surprised that these people, like these normal looking people, are like all for this apocalypse situation. Like they're not even like phased by it. So Sam and Dean sort of introduce themselves and say like, you know, we do this too.
Yeah.
And they want to help.
Yeah.
This whole, because they're Sam and Dean, of course they want to help. So they end up going to the church that's there, and we meet a kid and his mother, and then we're introduced to Pastor Gideon, who is doing a wedding, and it's the 8th one this week. Like, how long has this town been under like lockdown for the apocalypse?
I've just realised that this obviously like opens with a wedding. I feel like the wedding almost like entered Dean's psyche more than we realise.
Oh yeah.
Because this is what's happening in this episode, right? Because it's the end of the world, and I mean, this happens during like wartime as well and stuff, doesn't it? Like people get married because, you know, you want to legally be there, that you were together. So he thinks this is the end. So that's why he goes to Lisa.
And also, like, the timeline in this is kind of all a little bit all over the place. Obviously, the prophet in this, Leah, she is saying it's going to be like soon.
Yeah.
I feel like Sam and Dean talk about it being within months.
Yeah, I think so.
But it sounds like it's actually more likely within like weeks.
Yeah. It's the end times, like we're getting down to the wire. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we know that Supernatural doesn't really tell us what time is.
No, right, yeah. It doesn't exist in Supernatural,
so it could have been literal months, but I mean, the fact that Dean has run off at the end of this means that it's definitely, like, I would say in Supernatural time, probably within 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So then the crowd's all happy because there's a wedding. And then we get like a little conversation between the Pastor Gideon, and Sam and Dean, and they're talking about demon hunting. And he introduces them to the rest of the town, and they're like, basically they're doing what Sam and Dean used to do as children. Is like, there's kids like packing bullets and assault rounds and stuff like that. And Dean asks, so a 12-year-old is packing assault rounds, and the pastor says, everybody pitches in, the whole church. He's like, no, the whole town. I love this line from Dean.
Whole town full of hunters. I don't know whether to run screaming or buy a condo.
He would run screaming. I mean, he did. So, not screaming necessarily, but he did run.
Again, like, I wonder how much this reminds him of when he got thrown forward in time, of like seeing civilians around, like having to... I think, again, this also convinces him that the end is close by seeing people actively engaging demons in this way.
Yeah.
It's all just coming together.
And it is such a contrast to the second episode of this season, where they are in another town and they're fighting each other because of war.
Yeah.
But, you know, those people were a bit more hesitant to pick up a gun and like defend themselves. Because in the church, I didn't mention this, but at the wedding in the church, you see all these people with shotguns. They're all like armed. Like they're ready to go at any minute. Whereas the other town, which was divided, you know, the people didn't want to get involved and they were terrified. Whereas this whole town is prepared. Yeah. So Sam asks, why have you not called the National Guard? And the pastor says, because we were told not to. And Dean says, you know, you got this place locked and loaded, and an exorcism in Enochian. Someone's telling you something. And then we meet Leah, which is his daughter, and she knows who they are. She says, it's Sam and Dean Winchester. They're safe. I know all about them. If you were a prophet and the angels were talking about Sam and Dean and all that they've done and all they're supposed to do, would you not freak the hell out?
Yes.
Like Kevin. I'm thinking Kevin.
I mean, yeah, Kevin has the better reaction to me, like seeing them, right? So, yeah. But maybe that's why we should know something's off. But also, we don't know a whole lot about prophets yet. So
no, we've only met Chuck, and Chuck thought he was writing a book.
Yeah. So he did freak out.
he did freak out, but in a different way, and like he was the town drunk, and as we know in Supernatural, the town drunk doesn't get believed.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, she says that she gets her messages from the angels, and not to worry because they can't see you because of the marks on your ribs. Doesn't mean you still can't pray up to them and bring them down, but all right.
How does she know about that? The rib markings?
That's a good point.
Is it just common knowledge between angels and demons that they can't be found because Cass did something, like marked them up?
Well, yes, I think so.
Okay, I'll accept it.
Because we all know they're gossips. They got nothing else to do.
I know, but you would have thought like Cass would keep that secret. But maybe they can like sense. Maybe when they're close, they can like sense it.
Yeah, and also that might be the only permanent way to stop them from finding them. So like it's something that all the angels know can be done.
Yeah, I still love like, what does it say on their ribs? Like, property of Castiel. Like only Castiel can perceive these humans. Like back off.
Though he can't because they have to call him every time to find him. So she says that she's a prophet.
And they show me where the demons are going to be before it happens. How to fight back.
Never been wrong. Not once. Very special.
And Dean says, before you get something, you get a migraine and flashing lights. And they say that, that she's not the first prophet that they've come across, but you're the cutest. And like, there's kind of a little moment there where the pastor gives a look.
Hitting on her in front of her dad?
Who is a pastor.
Choices, Dean.
Yes. Yeah. And he's like, I mean that with total respect, of course. So it's a little bit later on, and we hear Cass's voicemail message. And it's like, I don't understand why. Why do you want me to say my name? And there's like random buttons that are being hit. And so we're seeing Sam's face during all of this, and he's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. So Sam and Cas have some really like cute moments in this episode where, I don't know, like you can see them becoming more friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So he leaves a voice message and tells them where they are and that they could use some help. So they haven't forgotten his number. Dead men don't wear plaid. They could have helped on that one.
Like, whatever. They could ring Cass in so many circumstances, but they don't. I'm over it. Like, every single episode from now on where he's not, I'm like, well, they could have called Cass though, couldn't they? Like, there's no reason why they couldn't have called Cass.
Exactly.
Ridiculous.
Apart from when he's dead in purgatory, but we haven't talked about that yet.
We didn't talk about that.
So in the bar, the bartender's talking with Sam, and he says, and the bar is really full, and the bartender Paul says, since the end started, it's been like one last call.
Do they ring a bell in America like they do in the UK?
I have never. No, I don't think so. I have no clue.
Well, for Americans, if you go to a pub and it's like last orders, they ring a bell at the bar and go like, last orders! And they will just sort of leave because no one really gets last orders in.
No, you're already pretty much done at that point.
Yeah.
So Dean comes over, asks if he got a hold of Cass. He says he left a message, and they're sort of theorizing why there's so many demons in this area. And they're like, well, they're probably going to go after the prophet.
Yeah.
And Sam's kind of annoyed because the angels are using humans as like cannon fodder, basically. Yeah. Cannon fodder. And Dean's really apathetic in this whole entire episode. He's like, so? I guess what Pamela said to him in the last episode is starting to affect him a little bit, like, because she was saying how heaven was actually like a nice place to be, and like not to worry about it, like you know, yeah, okay, the planet's going to be wiped, but like they're going to come here anyway, so just let it happen. Because Dean says, you know, we're all going to die, Sam, in like a month or two, maybe 2. This is the end of the world.
In fact, they're running to the exits in an orderly fashion. I don't know that that's such a bad thing.
And so I'm like, who says we're all going to die?
This is the beginning of a pattern for Dean when they start to get near the end of the world, or like something bad's going to happen, or like the big bad's going to win, because it happens like every now and then. That he kind of has this pattern of like depression about it, and then sort of self-sacrifice. Like, well, okay, well, I guess I'm going to have to be the one, I'll, you know, to save the world, like, and it's going to involve me dying somehow, like, oh dear, like, that's such a bad thing. Like, it's actually terrible, like, his self-destructive nature. And I would, it doesn't even start here, like, like obviously he made the deal to save Sam, but I felt like he did at least regret that afterwards. Like, after he made it, he was like, oh yeah, what it actually means to go to hell and die. But now he's like, well, heaven doesn't seem so bad, so...
Yeah. But he didn't regret his decision until the very end of season 3.
That's true.
Before that, he was like, oh, you know, I've got a year to live, let me live my life. Like, I'm going to live it to the fullest, and that's just how it's going to be. Whereas, like... And then in the last kind of episodes, he was like, actually, I want to live. I don't want to die. I don't want to go to hell.
Yeah.
Fair. Whereas this time round, it's just like, he doesn't really want to save anybody either. Like, right now, he's just like, whatever. It's inevitable. Like, why even fight it anymore?
Yeah. And like, that never really, I don't think that ever really goes away. I always feel like it's Sam who's like, come on, we got to keep fighting, we've got to keep going, and Dean's the one who's always trying to argue against that. I'm trying to think of a reason whether that isn't the case, or like he doesn't just do something stupid. I don't know, it's a difficult one because it's such like a set pattern that we see with Dean. This kind of like, it's not giving up. It's like somehow him sacrificing himself is the only way forward. Like that's it gets to that point a lot of the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's also why Dean is so like wine women's song, right? Because you're saying even when he sold his soul, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna like live my life to the fullest and like, yeah, whatever. And that's how he just lives his whole life, because he's like, well, at any moment, Demon's gonna get me.
Which kind of sucks because that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, right. Except it's right. Yes, except no, because at the end of season 15, from what we can see of Dean in his life, he doesn't seem that happy.
No, that's true.
So I don't know. Again, he's in the stage of like, well, inevitably we're still hunting. Something's gonna get me. And then it does, and then that's it. Anyway.
Yeah. Depressing.
Yeah.
So before they can get anything, like, anywhere with this conversation, the church bells start to toll. So it wasn't the last call bell, it was the church bells.
Hey.
Hey. And the bar owner even, says that Leah's had another vision and that they're going to go to church. And he's like, you know me, I'm downright pious.
Foreshadowing, maybe.
Yep. So the pastor is telling everybody that there is demons outside of town, and that he's looking for volunteers, and a whole bunch of people decide, you know, we're going to go. And then they begin a prayer. And as the pastor is giving the prayer, like you see one of the townspeople who we learned to be Rob, who said is Michael Shanks.
Yeah, Michael Shanks. Yeah. Dr. Daniel Jackson.
Yeah. And the bar owner, like, kind of have it. I thought they were giving off, like, we should meet up later.
Right, no, I thought the same thing. They were like, how you doing?
Yeah.
Right.
So, just the way they were looking at each other, I was just like, wait, are they a thing?
Yeah.
But it's really, Rob seems annoyed that Paul is not praying with everybody else.
Yeah, it's like the beginning of the suspicion between them, right? I think, like, that's what it's supposed to be showing, but it did come off as a bit gay.
It came off really gay.
No, you're not crazy. I thought it too. It's like, what? In Supernatural?
Yeah, it's like, okay, all right, fair.
Yeah.
And then so they enter the house, and there's this whole epic battle, and I thought someone was going to make a comment about Sam because he is so, I don't know if it's Jared's acting in this, but he is so like bloodlusty. Like he's the only one who's actually seems to be like causing harm to the demons.
Yes.
Because like his hands are like covered in blood and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Because they're using holy water and exorcism, so they're not actually damaging the vessels. Where, yeah, Sam's like, stabby, stabby.
Stab, 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 cutting people's throats, all this kind of stuff. And like, nobody bats an eye at that, which I think is kind of crazy. I'm guessing they probably believe that the vessels are all dead. Like, whatever Leah has told them, like, she's probably said that, you know, there's no saving these people. Otherwise, I feel like they would have tried to like collect the bodies, basically.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I feel Dean does give Sam a look as they like leave the house. He kind of looks at him like, it's a bit stabby.
Yeah, it's a bit stabby. There's a bit too much demon blood going on in there.
Yeah.
Like, if I see you licking your fingers afterwards, we're gonna have a talk.
Demon blood. It's knife-lickingly good.
I mean, we've kind of seen him do that. Like, he puts them on the. So after, you know, they've won and they're celebrating, one of the sort of older teenagers, maybe he's like a young 20s, I don't really know, named Dylan, wants to take a ride with Sam and Dean, and like, yeah, sure. And as Sam and Dean do, they like share a beer after a hunt. They give one to Dylan.
Hey, you saved my ass twice already. One more time, you can drive.
Which is kind of cute. Very sweet. But as he's drinking, his feet get grabbed and he gets pulled under the car. And
this is when I realised I would have died in this episode.
Killed.
I would have wanted to ride in the car. I'd be like, can I ride out with you guys in your cool car? And then I would have died.
Yeah. Yeah, but who checks under their car? Well, I'm going to start doing that. Make sure I'm not getting grabbed by the ankles and pulled under.
What hunter doesn't check under their car? This was bad for them.
And also, we've said this a million times. Why is there not, like, demon traps all over their car?
They should have one of those, like, you know, those mirrors that you can look under your car with to check for bombs. They should have one of those to check for demons clinging to the bottom.
Like Cape Fear.
Just Crowley, like...
So actually, we're saying that they do actually have a demon trap on the front of the church, which I didn't mention as I was walking in.
Yes. And
we never see Leah leave the church.
Ooh, good point. Yeah, she's stuck in there. Yeah, that's good. So, that's good. Details. Yeah. Dylan getting killed kind of sucky, but we needed him to further the plot. Sorry, Dylan.
My bad.
So Dean goes to apologise to Dylan's mother, and she blames him. She says it's your fault. At which this is really funny to me. So I was watching this in my living room, and they got to this point, And she was like, this is your fault. And Dean looked kind of guilty. And my like husband happened to walk past the TV and he was like, oh yeah, didn't he start the apocalypse? Like, this is his fault. And I was like, yeah, that's the point.
She doesn't know how true that statement is.
Yeah, exactly. And then Rob/Michael Shanks says, come on, Jane, because I guess he's Dylan's dad. Pastor Gideon gives a whole like eulogy about. He's like, I don't know why this happened. I don't know what end this is happening. But surely they must have lost people so far already.
You would think so. But maybe since Leah's been having her visions, they haven't lost anybody.
Ah, good point. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of unprecedented. And then Sam and Dean turn up and people start dying. Uh-oh.
Oh no. Leah's plan had to go like up a notch. Like she had to start doing a bit quicker because she knows who they are.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that probably is true actually. And then Leah like collapses and has it's like a seizure, but it's a vision. And she says, oh, it's Dylan, like Dylan's gonna come back. And then she says to his parents, like, it's gonna be okay, you'll see him again. When Judgment Day comes, he'll be resurrected and you'll be together again. We'll all be together. We've been chosen. The angels have chosen us. And he said, you know, all you have to do is follow the angels' commandments. So she's like laying the groundwork for her big deception.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens next is that everything has been outlawed, everything fun. So like drinking, gambling, premarital sex.
Dean, they basically just outlawed 90% of your personality.
And Dean's just like not bothered. He's like, well, yeah, whatever. Well, let's just go with it. I mean, It doesn't seem so far removed that the angels could ask this of them because like they know they're dicks. So why not just like mess with them a bit?
True. Mm-hmm.
And Sam does say like, oh, you're just cool with it. And he says, I'm not cool. He goes, you know, I'm not a prophet. We're not locals. It's not my call. But he doesn't care. You're right. He's really apathetic in this episode. Like he's just going with whatever's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Dean's got to the point. It's like, oh, another day, another bit of the apocalypse. Let's just see what happens now. Who's going to die?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Dean goes to see Leah and wants to talk to her about. I don't even quite know why he's there. Actually, like wants to talk to her about angel stuff, maybe to get a read on what's going on. Do you think even at this point he's thinking about saying yes to Michael? Is that why he wants to like get a read on what the angels are saying?
Yeah, or like I guess maybe it is just recon on what the angels are saying, not necessarily that he's ready to say yes yet. Mm-hmm. I think the events of this. Well, maybe it is Dylan's death that kind of put him over the edge because there's nothing else that happens in this episode. Well, maybe the murdering of Paul puts him over the edge. I don't know what his final straw is.
Because I feel like he's been considering it since he found out that God doesn't care, right? So there's no one going to come save them at all. So he's going to be that one who sorts it out. And I mean, the only person who's strong enough to beat the devil is Michael. It's a whole like combination of things. Like they saw that heaven's like not that bad, and Dean knows firsthand how bad hell is. So, like, what's the alternative?
Yeah, that's true.
So
yeah,
maybe he's trying to ensure that if there is going to be a fight, that heaven will win because it's the lesser evil.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's kind of interesting because when Zachariah showed Dean what happens when he consistently says no, like, but there was no scenario where Sam says no, continuously says no.
Yes.
And Dean says yes.
This is it. This is the thing. Right, I have to go with this. I'm getting off track. With Dean saying yes to Michael, is he not almost guaranteeing that Sam will say yes to Lucifer? And that seems really out of character to me. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I know I said at the beginning of season 5 that Sam will always say yes. But the way that Sam is acting, I forgot this as well, like Sam's attitude becomes.
Yeah.
I honestly think that Dean bouncing was actually the cause for him to eventually say yes.
I agree with you.
Because in the last episode, Sam was saying, you know, we're going to do this together, right? You know, we have to do it together. And then here, Dean's like, nah, I think I'm going to go do whatever I want to do. And like, that's it. And so Sam's like, well, I don't know. I guess he gets like a vulnerable moment. No idea. But I feel like had they come up with a plan for him, like Michael, for Dean to say yes to Michael, I don't know, they could have figured something out.
But we know that them being apart is the catalyst for Sam doing it. That's what Zachariah showed him to do. So he should know. I don't know. It's just, maybe this will come clear in the next few episodes. Like a bit more of the thought process.
That's true. And I mean, considering we have 5 more episodes as well to go, they're not going to be separated for 5 episodes. Maybe 2, like there was at the end of the last season. But like, they literally just, I know it's like season 4 is a long time ago, but they literally just went through this. They literally just separated. Like, it wasn't quite as explosive as last time because obviously there's no like major lies between them at present. I think they've been pretty honest with each other, apart from like, you know, they're not telling each other exactly how they feel, but you know, you don't have to do that. But there's no like Sam's not on the demon blood again.
Yeah.
Dean isn't doing something completely out of character or what have you. So it's, I don't know.
I don't know. I think it'll become clear. I think I'm getting ahead of myself with the whole Michael thing, but we'll see. Anyway, so Dean goes to see Leah, and he does say like, angel stuff irritates out of you, huh? And she says, I can't complain. I know you have it worse. So what's on your mind? And he goes, are you on the level? Like, are you cool? And he's like, you know, do you know what paradise is like actually, you know, what it's like? And then he wants to know everything the angels are telling her, you know, that they're not lying to her essentially about what actually heaven is like, because he's been there. So she tells him like how it is. There's going to be a fight. It's going to get bad, but the angels will win. The planet gets handed over to the chosen, and then it's finally peaceful. No monsters, no disease, no death. You're just with the people you love. And then Dean says, of course, that's if you can get past the velvet rope. Mustn't be nice being chosen. So he doesn't think then that he's, like, although he's just been there, he doesn't think then that he's going to end up still in heaven if he keeps saying no to Michael, presumably.
I guess.
He's not got the velvet rope pass.
I guess this is one part I'm not 100% clear on, is that, so I guess he's talking about being raptured.
Yeah.
So he's thinking he's not going to be raptured. So he will remain on Earth when the fighting happens.
Right.
I think that's what this is referring to.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, he must know a bunch of people as well that probably he doesn't think would get into heaven, so he's not going with everybody. So she, of course, replies, well, Dean, you are chosen, like, you are the chosen one. And he says, yeah, more like cursed. Fair. Yeah.
Must be hard. Being the vessel of heaven and having no hope.
Pretty much sums him up. So back at the Paul's bar, Sam is there, and obviously there's no drinking anymore, so Paul is like packing all his alcohol away, and you know, Paul's like, well, do you want to help me kill some inventory? And they're like, sure, you know. And he's a really nice guy, Paul. He's just very affable and fine. And he's like, you know, don't get me wrong, I grew up here, but these holy rollers are like, you know, doing my head in kind of thing. Like, you know.
Yeah.
And Sam says, well, you don't seem like the praying kind. And he's like, well, you know, neither are half the people in the church. But a couple of months ago, they're all in here getting wasted, banging the nanny. And now they're all warriors of God because apocalypse.
Right.
And Paul says, look, there's sure as hell is demons, and maybe there is a God. I don't know. Fine. I'm not a hypocrite. I've never prayed before, and I ain't starting now. If I go to hell, I'm going to be honest. And I think that's kind of, I guess that's kind of Sam's point of view as well, right? At this point. He does ask Sam, like, what about you? And Sam's like, well, you know, he says, I believe, but I'm pretty sure that God stopped caring a long time ago. And they're like, yeah.
Yep. I mean, they pretty much have confirmation of that from Joshua, so
Exactly. Yeah.
there's nothing to believe on that one.
It's also a big change for Sam. Well, I mean, it's been coming, obviously, but you think about how's the Holy, where he's like, yeah, I believe in God, I believe in angels and everything, and I think there's a greater good in the world. And now he's like, meh.
I mean, if you're given the answer, wouldn't you just be like, meh? Like, what else have you got?
That's true. I mean, they don't have faith anymore. They can't have faith. Like, faith in what? They know too much.
Right. I guess they can have faith in themselves. They can have faith in Cas as part of heaven. But really, you know, especially with if they take what Joshua said at complete truth, then why would you have faith in a deadbeat dad? As you know, Dean will go on to say in this episode.
Like, they've already been down that road. They know where it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
So back at the motel, Dean asks Sam where he's been, and he's like, drinking.
He's a little drunk.
He said, I would have had more, but it was curfew. And we find out that they've also shut down the cell towers. There's no cable, no internet. Like, Sam is literally like crawling at the walls, like, no.
My Wi-Fi powers.
And Sam's like, well, you know, they're turning this place into some kind of fundamentalist compound. And Dean's like, yeah, they are. Like, and you're like, okay, what are you going to do about it? Because I get it, I just don't care. And Sam's like really pushing him on this, but like, at what point are you going to care? Like, you know, when does this become too far for you?
Stoning, poison Kool-Aid. The angels are toying with these people.
Angel world, angel rules, man.
He says, well, you know, the angels have got the only lifeboats on the Titanic. I mean, who exactly is supposed to come along and save these people? It was supposed to be us, but we can't do it. And Sam's like, so you want to stop fighting? And he's like, well, I don't know, maybe. And just Sam's face through all of this, just like, who is this person? Like, and Sam's like, well, you know, don't say that, because I can't do this alone. And Dean's like, well, I can do this. And he's like, and Sam's like, no, you can't do this to me. You know, I got one thing keeping me going. You think you're the only one white knuckling it here, Dean? I can't count on anyone else. I can't do this alone. And then Dean leaves. He's like, I gotta go clear my head. Which, I don't know. This was hard. This was a hard argument. It wasn't even an argument. This was just like, to see Dean so giving up. It's awful to watch.
It really is. And like, Sam is, the fact that Dean can't see that they're at the same point. So when Sam was detoxing off of demon blood, he basically had the same reaction. Like, he can't do it alone. So Dean went to the skies. And it's just like, your little, this is horrible because it's like older sibling, like taking on the burden of everything. But like, your little brother is reaching out to you and saying like, he needs your help. And the only thing you can do is being like, no.
But yeah, pretty much. She's telling Sam no. Like, I don't know if you know. Dean's really lost faith in everything. Like, I think the problem is he's lost faith in Sam, right, as well. Yeah. I think if he still had faith in Sam, that Sam wasn't going to say yes and give in to the demon blood, all this would be easier. But I don't think he's got faith in Sam anymore. And I think that is the absolute problem in this, at the end of this series.
Yeah, I think so too. I guess there's been like little steps. So I feel like because, well, and it's really bad on Dean, but Sam told Dean that during the famine episode that he needs help and that like he can't be around demons because of, you know, he knows exactly what's going to happen. The bloodlust is back. Does Dean think he's too weak again? Because, you know, we've already had this way back when, that, you know, he couldn't resist famine. Therefore, like, he's not going to be able to resist it, like, resist Lucifer.
Yeah, and I think you're right. Because Sam's got previous, like, to be fair, Sam's got previous. Like, he gave in to his demonic powers, like, right back season 2, you know? And it got him killed in the end. And then, like, Dean comes back from hell and he's banging a demon and, like, drinking loads of demon blood. I mean, he doesn't find that out for a while. So I don't know what proof Dean's got that he's not going to say yes in the end, because every other time that this stuff has happened, Sam has given in. Whether it's for the greater good or not in Sam's mind is another matter, but Sam always does give in eventually.
That's true.
It's an inevitability, I feel. That sounds awful to Sam. It's not his fault. Like, he's stuck in the narrative too, and he does always think he's doing the right thing. As much as he gets slammed for it, he always thinks he's doing, like, the right thing at the right time. He just makes bad decisions. It's not his fault. He's pushed into a corner. More than anyone else, more than Dean, Sam is always the one in the whole of Supernatural being pushed into a corner until he's got no way out.
And the way out is usually the bad thing. Yeah,
exactly. Like, he has to do the thing. Like, there's no other choice. There's literally no other choice.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, there is, your point is so good, because if you think about Dean's situation, they find another solution for him so he doesn't have to say yes to Michael. Yeah. There is never not an option for Sam. Sam is always the destined one. Like, he was the baby. Yeah. Like, and that will always be it. Which is, it's kind of sad a little bit, because, you know, they had lost the potential of all those other all those other special children. Because it would essentially take the pressure off of Sam. Yeah. But then that's a different story.
Yeah, exactly. Sam is the chosen one. As much as sometimes we often say this story is about Dean, ultimately Sam is the chosen one. He's always been the chosen one. And Dean is just his brother. Right? But he is. And because he's his brother, he gets drawn into these crazy situations. But without Sam, there would be no saying yes to Michael. Like, he wouldn't need to say yes to Michael. I'm that game show host, aren't I? It's like, oh, is it your brother's fault that your parents died? And it's like, yeah, it kind of is. Everything is Sam's fault. Sorry, Sam. It's just true.
I mean, I guess I'm still saying that it's always going to be God's fault, because he was the one who wants this drama. But yes.
Yeah, it's not Sam's fault he's Luke Skywalker. Like, you know, it's not his fault he was born. Poor Sam. But the thing is, all the stuff I've just said is, like, Sam is super aware of all of it. Like, he knows it's his fault. Like, he knows that without him, like, Dean could probably live, like, a normal life.
True. But then any time they separate, they can't separate long enough to actually kind of get a normal life.
Right, the codependency is too strong. It's like, they both know they're each other's problem, and, like, at the same time, being apart is also their problem. There's no escaping it. This is all Chuck's fault. Like, it's all just horror all the way down. And there's literally... And this is where the whole, like, free will stuff comes in, right? Because there's literally no choice that they could make where it doesn't end up bad. Yeah. So at the end of this series is them trying to break out of that, like, we actually need to make some decisions where we win for a change.
Yeah. I do love the last line of the last scene. It's like, it's past curfew. Yeah, sometimes he says it so, like,
I'm a law boy. Come back.
So they're all, like, the townspeople are in the church preparing, as they always do, And Leah comes in and she's crying, or she has been crying, and she needs to talk to the pastor because the angels are angry with the town because they say that they can't go to paradise. And Jane, who's Dylan's mother, like overhears this, and she's like, but we're doing everything they say. And she's like, well, they gave clear commandments and people aren't listening. Rob asks who's not listening. Cas then like appears in the motel room and has some of the best lines of the episode. He's like, I got your message. It was long, your message, and found your voice grating. It's like rude.
Are you drunk?
No. Yes.
Well, I just thought of something. Like, so Leah, supposedly on orders from the angels, has just banned like drinking and gambling and stuff, and then like literally we get like a drunk angel turn up in the next scene. Like, so.
I found a liquor store.
And
I drank it.
Cas is not steady on his feet. Sam has to like catch him and like sit him down. Sam asks, he's like, are you okay? And Cas is like, don't ask stupid questions. Tell me what you need.
I love him so much.
And so Sam explains that there's these demon attacks. They're massive, right on the edge of town, and we can't figure out why. And Cas says, any signs of angels? He says, sort of. And he says, there's a prophet in town called Leah Gideon. And Cas just goes, she's not a prophet. Like, why am I here? What's going on? I don't care.
Yeah.
Sam's like, no, I'm pretty sure. Why would you argue with the angel about which person's a prophet or not?
I mean, he's drunk.
Yeah, I guess so. So Sam says, I'm pretty sure she's got visions, headaches, the whole package. And Cas says, the names of all the prophets, they're seared into my brain. Leah Gideon is not one of them. We're then outside of the tavern, or the bar, Paul's bar. And Dean overhears like glasses smashing, and then we're inside, and there's a fight happening between the town, like a few of the townsfolk and Paul, and he's like, you know, you have to leave. And Rob is like, there's no other way. Basically, the town is turning on Paul because he was drinking earlier in the night. Yeah, everybody's paying attention to Rob and Paul as they argue. They're friends, but like, this has sort of turned them mad. Jane says to him, you know, yeah, you were at our wedding, but now you're standing against the flock. And he's like, well, that's not true. I fight with you. And they point out that you're not a believer. And, you know, Rob says, they don't make this hard for us. And he's like, hard for you? Like, you're the guys here coming and attacking me. Like,
right, yeah.
So Dean kind of gets in the way, like tries to stop Rob from attacking Paul again. And suddenly you hear a gun go off, and Jane says, no one's going to stop me from seeing my son again. And he's just shot and killed Paul.
Yeah.
Dang, cold-hearted, man. I guess you don't mess with family, as we know in this show. So we come back to the motel, and Sam's concerned for Dean because Dean's got blood all over his hands. And he says, it's not my blood, it's Paul's. And that Jane had shot him. And Cas says, it's starting. And Dean asks, what's starting? And he says, where the hell have you been? And he says, on a bender. And he's like, oh, it's not important what I've been doing. Like, we need to talk about what's happening here. So Sam reveals that Leah's not a prophet.
Well, what is she exactly? The whore. Wow. Cas, tell us what you really think.
Kind of just want that on a t-shirt.
Right. Cas quotes the Bible or whatever version of whatever. And he says, she rises when Lucifer walks the earth, and she shall come bearing false prophecies. This creature has the power to take human form, read minds. So maybe that's how she knows about the rib thing, because she can read minds.
Oh yeah, we'll go with that. That's good.
Yeah. He says the Book of Revelation calls her the whore of Babylon.
I just realised Leah's like not a demon, right? She's her own thing. She's the whore of Babylon. Because they don't kill her like a demon.
Mm-hmm.
So, although she comes bringing false prophecy, like, there's no reason why she's also, like, not working for the angels as well. I know she's, like, obviously a thing of the apocalypse, but is she, like, a neutral party, or do you think she's on Lucifer? Oh, I guess she's got demons with her. Okay, fine.
Yeah, and also, I feel like everything apart from angels are against the angels.
Okay.
Like vampires, werewolves, all of that. I felt like they would all be against the side of the angels because essentially angels will wipe out everything.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Sam reveals that Leah was probably killed months ago, and that the demons are more than likely under her control, and the Enochian exorcism is actually fake. And it means you breed with the mouth of a goat. It's funny in Enochian. Because they kind of just like look at him like, what?
Well, I love Cass's episode. I don't know. I think it's the first time we have seen a little glimpse of it, but really see like snarky Cass. Which is just like a core component of his personality later on. You're like, oh, that's Cass.
This is the reason why Naomi keeps wiping his brain, because this is actually what he's like, and they're just like, can you not?
He's like, he's just like everyone's annoying younger brother, you know, or like just an absolute like wastrel. Bless him.
So Dean points out like, the demon smoking out is just a con. What's the end game? And Cass like, well, you've seen it. It's this innocent blood spilled in God's name. Dean's like, so to slaughter and kill and sing preppy little hymns. Awesome. So the whore of Babylon's goal is to condemn as many souls as possible, and it's just the beginning. She's just well on her way to dragging this whole town into the pit. I love this line from Dean. He says,
so then how do we go pimp of Babylon all over this bitch?
Like, I like the play on words. Not a huge fan of whore and pimping. Like, that's not where I'm going with that, but like just the play on words I enjoy.
Yeah, surprised. I feel like I'm surprised they got away with using the word whore on the CW. But like also like that's actually what she's called in Revelation, so that's probably the only way they got away with it.
Yeah, they were definitely pushing it a little bit.
I think they were pushing it, yeah.
So we're back in the church basement, and Jane is, fearful because she's just killed somebody, and she's trying to get reassurance from Leah that she's asking, did I make it worse? Did I make them angry? Make the angels angry? And Leah says, no, they understand, and it was for the greater good. They all liked Paul, but he was a sinner, and we've taken us down with him. You saved us. And the pastor is like listening to this, and this is where we're starting to see the turn in Leah. Like it was like you said, it was very subtle, but obviously the pastor knows his daughter. Yeah, and like he starts to question her a little bit because he says, "How is that okay? She killed him. There's no greater sin." And like she interrupts and says, "It's not a sin to strike down evil." And she's like, "Well, you've taught me always to have faith." Back in the motel, Cass has a wooden stake. And he says, the whore can be killed with that.
It's a stake made from a cypress tree in Babylon. Right. Let's ventilate her.
Dean. But like, did Cass just take like a little like boozy trip to Babylon to go like get the okay fine?
Yep. That's exactly what he did. I wonder what else he did in Babylon while he was there.
Yeah.
Get another drink. And of course, there's a stipulation to this. Like, they can't just go stick her in the chest with it. I really don't want to refer to her as the whore, but the Lady of Babylon.
Yeah.
She can only be killed by a true servant of God.
Not you. Or me. Sam, of course, is an abomination.
Just casually slip that in. He says we have to find somebody else.
I love Sam's face. It like cuts to Sam when Cas calls him an abomination, and he's kind of like, yeah, I guess. You know, like there's an acceptance there.
Yeah. Yes, there is.
Oh, poor Sam.
Poor Sam. So we're then back at the church, and Leah's giving like a sermon. And saying that, you know, the angels have chosen them. Today is the day, basically, at midnight, they'll come for the final judgment. So we need to do it right, and we don't have a lot of time. And the angels say we're not ready. There's still a few elements to take care of. Sinners. The crowd starts to, like, panic, clearly, because they've just killed one person. So that means more people are being led to the slaughter. The pastor is trying to calm everybody down. Says to Leah, you're scaring them. She tries to reassure them, but like not very well. She says like, you know, I don't want to panic, but we have to hurry.
What are you doing? Stop it. You're gonna get somebody killed.
Let me go. Or the next sinner I name will be you.
The pastor is like outside. Cas just like freaks him out. He like flaps his wings but doesn't appear. Do you think he's still a little drunk? So do you think he like missed the landing? He's like, shit, I gotta do that again.
Like, just sliding past him on a different plane. Like, I missed, help. Okay, yeah, fine.
So he calls out to the pastor and he asks, who are you? He says, I'm an angel of the Lord. And he's like, yeah, sure. And then like they get transported to the motel. Dean says, yeah, he wasn't lying about the angel thing. And that they're gonna need a chat.
Cas, like, Dean in this episode is so done. Like, he's so apathetic. He's like, yeah, all right. Like, he doesn't even bother explaining. He's just like, I'm an angel. And, like, takes him with him. Like, doesn't... There's no, like, grease in the wheels. I don't know how to say it, you know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. There's literally just, like...
foolish human. Just come with me.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, obviously, Leah is his daughter. And it's too hard for him to kill her. And Sam does his like, but look inside.
Yeah.
You know it's not her. And if you don't do this, she's going to kill a lot of people and damn the rest to hell. And he's asking why. And says, Cas says, you're a servant of heaven. And he's like, well, you're an angel. And he says, poor example of one. I'm like, oh, poor Cas. You're actually like the best angel.
Yeah, Cas, you're the best angel.
So we're then outside. I'm not sure why they go outside, but it's just Cas and Dean are outside. I guess they're getting ready to take the pastor back to the church so they can execute their plan.
Yeah.
And Dean throws him like a bottle of aspirin. And Cas asks how many he should take. And he's like, probably the whole thing. And Dean sympathizes with Cas. He says, I've been there. You know, I'm an expert on deadbeat dads. So I know how you feel. And Cas says, how do you manage it? And he says...
On a good day, you get to kill a whore.
Which... That's really sad.
That's really right. I like this little scene between them. I think it's really good. Because we already kind of knew that Dean has sympathy for Cas because of what they found out about God. Like, he just fully has equated John Winchester with God, like, immediately. So he knows. But I feel like the fact that he's still trying to sympathise with him now, I feel like Cas and Dean were already on the way to becoming friends from the time that Cas, like, lied for him, right? Or, like, told him how to loophole his way, like, round things. I feel like after they find out that God doesn't care is when they start to become, like, very close friends. I think that's because of the similarities between them.
Trauma bonding.
Yeah, trauma bonding. You're right, it is that. Oh my god. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say luckily, I was going to say luckily it worked out for them, but it really doesn't.
It really didn't. Yeah. I don't know if like a trauma bonding is a good way to start a relationship.
Generally, no.
Not without extensive therapy.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I feel like...
and killing a whore and drinking alcohol is not therapy.
Basically, like, whatever whatever they do, like the opposite is actually the healthy thing to do. But like,
yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I just love this little scene. I think it's seeing Cass like sat on the floor. Like you could, it's just something about that. It's like you see how far he's fallen.
Yeah, and you know he's always been unaffected by humanity and like what humans do, and the fact that he's probably seen this happen over and over and over again in terms of like somebody drowning their sorrows in a way.
Yeah.
And he figured this is the way to do it.
Yeah.
Like he's in such a bad place that like, okay, I'll try it, see what happens. And like he's now realizing actually it doesn't help. It just makes you feel worse. I mean, you know, that's why he sat there on the floor like with his head in his hands, because like he's got this massive headache, massive hangover for drinking a liquor store.
Yeah. Like, who is he emulating though? Like at the beginning of the last episode, we see that Sam and Dean had both been on also a bender because their motel room was full of cans and stuff. So clearly they also coped with finding out God didn't care in a similar way. And Cas, for all his flaws, and this is also one of them, really looks up to them as like examples of humanity. So it's like, well, this is how we deal with our problems.
Yeah. 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 And, you know, the fact that he turns around and says, how do you manage it? And, like, Dean just says, on a good day.
Yeah.
How many, like, it's not good days. It's not good times. It's on a good day. Which means for Dean, there has not been many in recent months.
Dean never fully copes with the fact that John was a terrible father, and
that's very true.
God is a terrible father figure also. And he only ever gets to confront Chuck about it. Like he never confronts John about it ever.
True.
So Cas manages to come to terms with it eventually. Like he does, but I don't feel like Dean ever does. So. And the fact that Cas is asking Dean how to manage his feelings, like, do you know this man? You've rebuilt him in hell, and you were asking him how to manage emotions?
Yeah, that was not smart. But really, is Cas smart? I don't know.
It's questionable. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe smart, but not wise.
That's probably a good way to put it. So we're at the church again in the basement, and one of the townspeople is like yelling at them to like stop pushing her into like the storage area. And there's like other people in there as well. And Leah then tells Jane to get the kerosene. Jane is confused because she's like, well, there's children in there. And Leah's like, well, they were named for a reason. Your son needs you to do this. I'm surprised that, well, I guess I don't know what denomination they are. I guess they're Lutheran. So actually, I don't know what their beliefs are. But I thought children were always innocent. Like there is no way for children to actually sin. But I have no clue.
Were Lutherans like way back when responsible for the witch trials? Was that them?
Well, the Puritans were.
Yeah.
But I don't know where they started from.
Yeah, Martin Luther. I'm pretty sure. This is me misremembering. I'm pretty sure Martin Luther was, who is like the founder of the Lutheran branch of the church. I'm pretty sure he was the one who was like, witches are bad. I'm sure he had like a hand in it. But
I mean, the Catholics also had their like Inquisition, so.
Yeah, like they're all bad all the way down. But like, I feel like they were making a direct reference to Martin Luther through them being Lutherans and then trying to like essentially burn people at the stake. I feel like they're trying to be clever, but I don't think like the average watcher of Supernatural would like, or unless you were like doing something
connect the dots
like this, like absolute That shit crazy. Of rewatching the show and doing a podcast would even think about it. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That was just one of the things that like they didn't, like, as somebody who has tangentially been related to some churches and to some denominations, I'm like pretty sure the children, I don't know when is it 18 in religion you're no longer a child? I don't know.
It depends on the
in general,
religion, the culture, it's so much goes into it.
It is.
But I mean, essentially, she's trying to get them to do something so awful that they won't ever question anything that she's asking them to do again, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I do think Sam and Dean's made her speed up her timeline, because we've spoken about this before, about like how you just make them do little things. So they did one thing with killing Paul, and because it was one person, but this was too much, so people start to question them. I think had she been able to do like little bits here and there, it would have been better.
Mm-hmm. She's definitely pushing them with this because they are like, why? What? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And especially burning them alive of all the things to do.
People like, they know, like,
yeah.
I don't know if they were ever going to do this. I don't think even Jane was like, oh yeah, sure, let's do this.
I don't know, because Rob goes for it. Rob goes, and they put the kerosene down.
True.
But they're all in that section. Like, everyone would have burned.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just stupid.
It's very, very weird. Like, really, even just a spark should have actually made the whole place ignite, because it's not just the fuel, it's the fumes that also...
Very much the fumes.
So, don't smoke at a petrol station.
But yeah, that's why you don't.
I saw that happening the other day and I was like, oh my god.
That's why those things always annoy me. You know, when films where they've got like a petrol line and you see someone like smoking a cigarette and they like throw it onto the fire and then it ignites as the cigarette like lands. It's like, no, that doesn't happen. It would give me there. It'd
already be done. Anyway, we're getting... Okay. Sorry, I started that one. I started that one. So... Cass appears with the pastor and like he goes to kill her and she's like, no, don't hurt me, I'm your daughter. And he hesitates, and then she like casts a spell on Cass, and he like seizes up basically. They all start to fight again. Leah's using telekinesis to like throw people around the room. And Leah's like calling for help because she's saying that Gideon is now a demon because he's chasing her with a stick. Like, it's much more intense than that, but like it's funny because he is chasing her with a stick.
This is a big stick.
She then tells him to light the kerosene, and Rob goes to do that. Sam has tackled Jane and like has got her in a bear hug, and Dean has been like knocked over and like is being choked out by Leah, and he sees the stake and he's trying to like reach for it. And she like monologues for a moment and says,
this is why my team's gonna win. You're the great vessel, you're pathetic, self-hating, and faithless. It's the end of the world, and you're just gonna sit back and watch it happen.
Yeah, that's exactly. Do you think it was Dean just like, I'm the last resort, let me just do it and see what happens? Or did you think he had a plan?
I think Dean had an inkling it would work. I mean, you might as well if you've got the stick, you might as well stab her. But like, I also think there was something in his mind that was like, this is going to work. Because I've already decided deep down to say yes.
I wonder how much of like the monster at the end of this book is playing into it. How much, and as a watcher, there's like plot armor involved in this, because he was never going to die in this episode.
No.
But like he knows that his story is going to be told, like that Chuck. Well, no, he doesn't know Chuck's writing the story, but like everything is already predestined.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a bit like it's got to work because it has to work. because it's written that it's going to work, and I'm not going to go against the narrative right now.
Yeah, there is some of that. There is that, I think. And also, like, if you're being, like, choked out by a demon, I feel like a big stick might slow him down.
Yeah, there is that.
No, I get your point as well. Like, you know, of course it's going to work. It always works, right? And whenever they do this stuff, like, it always works. So why wouldn't it work in this case?
Exactly. And so Leah dies, and you see her like demon face sort of appear briefly, or horror face. I don't know. We'll go with demon face. And Jane's like, I don't understand how we're supposed to get to paradise now. And Dean's like, I'm pretty sure you're headed in a different direction, which is absolutely awful. Though, being someone of faith,
yeah,
she should be able to repent and they'll be fine. So,
yeah, like originally I thought this was really harsh of Dean, like, yeah, go to hell. And then I was like, well, I guess he's telling her that maybe she does have a chance to be a better person from now on. But I feel like he was also just feeling pretty petty in that moment. So I was like, yeah, you are going to hell. Peace out.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, if you think about it, like, she was willing to set children on fire.
That's true. Yeah, Dean's not really with the whole, like, you know, killing children, your family stuff. And, like, also taking revenge because... See, I feel like you should have understood that bit, like taking revenge because your family got killed.
This is true.
I don't know. It seemed harsh anyway to tell this woman. I know she murdered someone and was about to murder a whole bunch more people. But also she was under the influence of like some kind of mega demon. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. Like, as they're heading out of the basement, which they just like leave everybody there. Like, they don't like usher people out, but you know, this is Supernatural. They don't think of that until they do sometimes. Sam asks Dean, like, how did he do that? And how did he kill her?
Last I checked, she could only be ganked by a servant of heaven.
Well, what do you want me to tell you? I saw a shot. I went for it.
They get them into the Impala. I guess Cass. Oh yeah, because Cass is also like incapacitated, so they can't. As Sam and Dean are getting to the front of the car, Sam questioned Dean, "Are you going to do something stupid?" Because he's probably thinking like, has he said like a mini yes? Like, did he pray at some point while he was fighting? Like, if you help me, I'll say yes, kind of thing. So they get back to the motel, and they're tending to the pastor, and Dean doesn't really question. He doesn't ask the pastor a question. He says, "You'll be okay," and the pastor says, "Actually, no," which is fair. Like, your daughter's been dead for months, and you thought she was a prophet who was actually condemning your whole town, and your whole town is basically condemned to hell. Like, yeah, he's not okay.
The way Dean said this is almost like, oh, I've been there. You will eventually be okay.
Yeah. There's also, because it's a statement, it's like Dean has a plan. So he's like, you'll be okay because I'm going to go make this right.
Oh, you're right. No. Yeah, that's it. For goodness sake.
Yeah. Because as Dean goes to leave the motel room, Sam asks where he's going. He says, I'm just going to get some clean bandages out of the trunk. And then you hear the engine rev and Sam runs out of the room. And Sam's like, damn it, Dean. It's not quite as impactful as Sammy, but I think it's just because Sammy has just like, it's such a nickname, right?
Sammy! It's Dean! Sorry. Yeah. I can't believe he just drove off. Wow.
Rude.
Without saying where he was going or anything. Anyway.
Yeah. You couldn't do that now. You got like tracking on your phone.
Exactly. Yeah, you definitely could. One of the things that Sam put into the Impala is like the anti-tracking, like, signal or whatever. So yeah, and like I feel like this episode kind of almost takes a left turn right for this epilogue. Because I think if you're watching this in real time, it kind of comes out of nowhere. I know we had the recap with Lisa to remind you who she was, but she's only been in one episode, right? Two. Yeah, 2 episodes. And it's also like not like she's framed as like Dean's great lost love. It's like, oh, they had like a weekend together and like there's a kid that's maybe his.
So that was the first episode. The second one is a little bit more leaning towards that.
You're right. It is. Okay, fine.
Because of the changelings. She knows what they do. And he like apologizes for that. Like as to like why he could never have a life with her.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I feel like that only changes because she's got Ben in the picture who's his like maybe child. Is this all revolving back to deadbeat dads?
Oh God, I didn't even think about that. Because he kind of is one, isn't he?
He kind of is one. He like thinks Ben might be maybe his kid, and then he just like went on the road because he can't be with them because of hunting. And now he's like, maybe I'm a deadbeat dad.
Yeah. But I guess the difference is that Lisa can like actually provide him with like a normal life because, you know, he points out there's like a nice house and all that kind of stuff. Like,
yeah, like Dean like totally isn't one, but like the internalization of that, like he's taken that on board, and now he's trying to undo it.
Yeah, that's why he's here. Yep, that's why he's here.
I don't think
he's like, oh, I'm surrounded by deadbeat dads and I can't be one, so let me go. But then like turning around and being like, oh no, I can't. Like this little back and forth that they have, isn't really is about them, really. But then, you know how their story concludes makes it so Dean can never be a deadbeat dad because he doesn't remember.
Well, they don't remember.
Well, they don't remember him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, all I'm saying is this is like 25% Lisa. This is like mostly about Ben. Like it's just is.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Anyway, I'll have to go into the scene. So yeah, we see Dean driving by himself, and he knocks on a door in the daytime, and Lisa opens, and she's like, Dean. And he said like he would have called, but he didn't have her number, so he just turned up. And he's obviously been keeping tabs on her because he knows where she lives, which is fine. See, and this is why, because he explains why he's there, and then he immediately says like, "How's Ben?" Okay, fine. This is my thesis. I'm giving it out. So yeah, Ben's at baseball, but Dean's like, well, you know, you moved and it's a really nice house, and he says, well, you didn't come here to talk about that. Like, what do you want? Are you okay? And he says, no, I'm not really, which is a big admission for Dean. Like, So he says, like, I have no illusions, okay? I know the life that I live. I know how it's going to end for me. I'm okay with that.
But I wanted you to know that when I do picture myself happy, it's with you and the kid.
And Lisa just says, wow. Sorry. I mean, what else do you say to that, to be fair? Like, I'm trying to imagine them, someone, like, turning up at my door that I hadn't, like, seen in maybe years at this point. It could be months. I don't even know anymore. Be like, cool. Like, what else did you say?
Yeah, like, thanks.
Like, you can come inside and talk about it, but, like, what do I say immediately? Like, all right. So Dean's like, I mean, you don't have to say anything. And she does say, like, you know what? Like, come inside. Like, let me get you a beer. And he says, like, I wish I could. Like, take care of yourself. She rightly's like, you can't just say that and leave. Like, what is this?
He almost tried to do the Dean goodbye to somebody else.
Did he?
He literally says, I love you to somebody, and then was going to go sacrifice himself.
Yeah, he did. What a dick. He knows how bad that feels. So he's come to warn her too, like, that things are about to get really bad, but, like, for her to not worry because he's sorted it. Like, he's put them into a protection ring or whatever. He said that he's made arrangements for you and, like, for her and Ben. He said whatever happens, you're going to be okay. Says the people I'm going to see next, they're not going to get anything from me without agreeing to a few conditions. So he's going to go make a deal.
Yeah.
And Lisa's like, stop, wait, like, don't do whatever you're thinking of doing. Like, she has no idea what it is, but she can tell from his face that it's bad. And when he says, I have to, she's like, please just stay an hour, say bye to Ben. And Dean says, it's better if I don't. Because he doesn't want to be a deadbeat dad, get all his hopes up.
Yep.
But he's providing for his son by making arrangements. No, I'll leave it there, it's fine. So yeah, they kiss, and Dean says, bye, Lisa. And you're right, he does the kiss and dismiss that everyone else does to him.
Yep.
It's without the kissing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what, like, it is a bit... I said I was okay with this. It's a bit left field, like at the end of the episode. I think the reason it feels odd is because the whole of the episode is in darkness. It's at nighttime, and then this bit is in the daytime as well. Like, it's the hope at the end, maybe.
Did it actually happen?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I think you're right. Even though it's daytime, it's not like it has the same sort of like supernatural blue tint.
It does, yeah.
It doesn't have the orange glow. So yeah, it happened. Fun to think about that it didn't though.
I know, right?
Devastating. I don't know.
I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I think now I've realised with my own self that this is all about Dean trying to be a father. It feels different to me than how I thought when we started recording of him just looking out for Lisa. I don't know, it feels different now. It feels more... I still like it. It feels more noble, but I don't doubt that Dean loves Lisa. Like, I think he does. But I don't know if he just loves the idea of her rather than her. Like, there's a family there for him that he could claim if he could, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the issue with that, right, is that they never get a chance, like in terms of like supernatural, they never actually really get a chance to explore that question, whether it is like the relationship doesn't fall apart because he doesn't love them and doesn't want to be for them. It falls apart because of Dean's occupation.
Yeah.
So, but the fact that he never, you know, there's ways to undo memory loss. Like, we know this.
Yeah.
Like, you literally have God on your side at the very end of the show, and you don't go back. So that's, and it's like she gets essentially Lisa gets forgotten.
Yeah, she does. Lisa does get forgotten. I mean, I think if we're talking in terms of shipping, I think we know why Lisa gets kind of like waylaid, if you're going to look at it that way. But
yes.
Because Dean doesn't have any relationships after Lisa, like, not canonically. Like, there's no other women after Lisa. Not really, other than like, you know, normal flings as we've seen so far in Supernatural. There's only Lisa, and then there's Cas. Like, the in my opinion. So it's I don't know, but you're right though. I'm almost surprised they didn't at the end kind of give him Lisa. That sounds awful, but that's how it would have been. She would have been like, the family would have been a prize at the end. Congrats, you defeated the final boss. You get your family that you always wanted.
And you know that, well, the thing is, it would come back to him basically being a deadbeat dad, because it would be, what, 9 years at least from the last time? Or maybe about 9 years that I would have last seen them.
Yeah.
And so Ben would probably be late teens, maybe even early 20s. I'm not sure how old he's supposed to be.
And the thing is, like, Dean reconciles that, like, problem with dads through Jack anyway, which is, I know we'll talk about it, which is why him treating Jack so badly at points is bad characterization, because
Yeah.
actually...
He would do anything not to be a bad father.
Yeah. If anything, he'd be massively overcompensating. Like,
yeah.
too nice. Like, sure, kid. Like, have ice cream after dinner. Like, don't get a stomachache. I don't know. I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah. I think that's the only issue for me is I feel like I do sometimes feel like I don't know if he would have been as drawn to Lisa if it wasn't for Ben. Like, I can't ever see him going back to her if it wasn't for Ben.
I agree. Yep.
So, is that a good enough reason to start a relationship? Sometimes, yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I am sad that like they couldn't or they didn't want to explore that relationship more than they did. It also plays into the found family because he doesn't really care if Ben is his son or not.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely amazing if it is. I will still treat him like a son if he isn't.
Exactly, yeah. Like he does. You're right. He doesn't care whether or not he's his biological son. Like I feel like I was he felt like that Ben was his son on some kind of like emotional level.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it plays into that trope perfectly. That like, who cares? Mm-hmm. And they would never find out to know if the like paternity was right or whatever. Like, they wouldn't care.
No, exactly. If anything, maybe a demon will come along and be like, oh, you know, that's not your son. Like, don't care. Die.
It absolutely, yeah, I don't know. It absolutely sucks. Back to what you were saying, like right at the beginning. This is setting him up for season 6. I must be.
I mean, I can't see it as any other way.
Or, like, yeah, Kripke was kind of give him a nice ending. It's like, okay, Sam's gone. You know that he was talking to Lisa earlier in the season, so you can imagine that he would live his life and go and be with Lisa.
Mm-hmm. Because I wonder how much of season 5 changed when they got the green light for season 6.
I know! It's so annoying.
Because obviously they couldn't write the ending at season 5 and then be like, oh, we have to carry on.
I mean, shows do that though. They're like, oh yeah, we'll kill off all our characters. Oh crap, we got greenlit. That proper... Is that what happened with Buffy? You know, when Buffy like dies and then she comes back. Did they know they were going to get a new season or?
Oh, you know, I don't know. I wasn't really up to speed. Like, I didn't really care about that stuff when the show was going on.
Hey, Buffy nerds! I know you're out there listening to this. Tell us. I want to know that. I'll Google it later. But yeah. I mean, overall, this episode is fine. I don't mind it. It's taken from the Book of Revelation, like the whole like horror Babylon thing. I think in the Book of Revelation she gets to ride a big dragon, so like disappointed that didn't happen.
This is true.
But like,
I would like to have seen that.
If someone's gonna go around and like call me the like horror Babylon, like I feel like I should get to ride a dragon.
I agree.
Take that as you want.
I was going to say something else to that, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to take that out. So next week we are at the point of no return.
Hey.
Which, I mean, that's a funny episode name considering there's 3 more episodes after that one, but okay. We'll let that slide.
Yeah. I'm excited. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, the only reason why I kind of remember what kind of happened is because of I have IMDb up with the information.
Hey.
Because Adam's back.
Oh. Mm-hmm. No, I don't remember it. Don't remember it at all.
So yeah.
Yeah. The other weird thing for me is that Michael Shanks is in this episode and he like has 2 lines, that's basically it. And he nearly lights some people on fire. Like,
yes.
I guess if no one knows, I mean, surely people who watch Supernatural have watched Stargate. We're on the same demographic.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Though, so I've watched Stargate Atlantis, but like I didn't remember him.
God, I used to have such a thing for like Dr. Daniel Jackson. Like, I don't know, I think it's the round glasses. There's something. I don't know. Love a man who can read hieroglyphics.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I just think it's really weird that he's in this episode and he's like not. I thought he would have like been the pastor, like just acting credentials wise.
Yeah,
he feels like a cameo. So like, I thought they would have put him in a more speaky. I don't know.
Maybe it was like a misdirect. Like they thought, oh yeah, he's gonna be the bad guy.
That's true. It's like that time I was watching, oh my gosh, what was it? Some crime program. Criminal Minds. I think it was Criminal Minds. And one of the people they were investigating was DJ Qualls. I can't never say his second name. And I was like, well, he's the killer then, isn't he? And I was right. It's always the person you
remember
recognize.
that episode, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it's good that he's fun. It's in this episode. He's also wearing glasses in this episode, so maybe that's just his thing. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to next week.
Should be good. We will see Adam again. And then he can be forgotten for 10 seasons. So, at the end of the episode, we'd like to thank the Pixel Glory for his amazing logo art. And if you'd like to get it on a mug, you can on our Redbubble store. And if you want to come talk to us about this episode or any of the episodes, we're all over social media: Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, YouTube. We are Escaping Purgatory Podcast or Escaping Podcast on Twitter.
Righto. So this week we stopped at a small town and knocked on the door of a long lost love. Who knows where it's going to go? And next week we can find our way out, maybe. Bye.
Bye.